My friends, welcome to Matt's Gym for Muscles. I can't disrespect Dwight like that. Today you guys are getting the VIP tour of my home gym. And it is all behind me, so let's go. Here is my baby, my home gym. I've been wanting to do this walkthrough for a while now because 2 years ago, I did a home gym tour, and 2 years before that, I did another home gym tour, and needless to say, things have changed quite a bit. Now, this is not a video to brag. This is not a video to tell you what you should or shouldn't buy. This is strictly just a walkthrough if you guys are curious what I have in my own home gym and what I use every single day. I did some number crunching, and everything I own, the value is just under $10,000. What I'm gonna do is link everything I could possibly link to in the description, and I will list all of the prices down there as well, so you can see a general breakdown of my own home gym. And now keep in mind, prices change all the time. Some of this stuff I bought 4 years ago, so prices are gonna vary a bit. Very important note, you don't have to spend $10,000 on a home gym. You could also spend a lot more on a home gym. There are a million different configurations, so many different pieces of equipment you can go with. This is just one example, so if you guys wanna see how I'm living, how I'm working out, here we go. And just so you guys can see, this is my entire home gym. I know a lot of home gym tours out there are way more exciting than this. Most of my equipment is here. I have a little bit right here, which I'll show you. So this is the entire area. You're looking at everything. I've gotten comments before from other videos where people have said, this is the dream to have your desk right next to your gym. You can just hop right over and get a few sets in. I don't operate like that. If I don't get up early and work out first thing in the morning, I'm never gonna lift. So I don't hop back and forth. But also, I have 2 kids. One of them sleeps up here. One of them sleeps there. It gets very loud. If you're envious of my home gym work setup, don't be, because it's actually not ideal. This is the main part of my home gym. These are my 2 cable towers. They are attached to my rack. The cable towers I get a ton of use out of, but if I'm being honest, this one is a weight stack and this one is plate loaded. I don't use this guy very much. I use both if I'm doing flies, but matching the weight is a pain in the butt. Now I upgraded this. This used to be a plate loaded. I got the weight stack and there's just no turning back. Being able to change the weight on a dime, it makes a huge difference and it makes me not want to use this one. Yes, I can upgrade to another weight stack, but I am kind of cheap and I am kind of lazy. I don't really feel like taking this apart and moving it upstairs and trying to sell it and then assembling a new unit. Having them attached to my rack is my preferred setup. I've gone through a bunch of setups over the years. I had a separate functional trainer for a while that I kind of liked. It was a cheaper unit. It was from Valor. It wasn't the ideal setup for me. It wasn't the best space-saving solution, which is mostly what I'm about here in this small space. These are from Bells of Steel, both of these towers. They're both great. It's just any plate loaded tower is just kind of a pain. The weight stack I absolutely love. I've had no issues with this thing at all. I think I've had it now for 2 years-ish. What I really like about the Bells of Steel unit is that it is built to take attachments, namely this dip bar, which I use fairly often. I have a steel row attachment. I'll do some B-roll so you can see that. And I have lever arms. I do belt squats on here all the time. One of my favorite exercises, and the setup with a lever arm on this is pretty perfect. I use this tricep dip bar as just my handles. This works so well. And this also is far enough out from the machine that it works great as a footrest for doing seated rows. You don't have to do them on the ground. You can pull up a bench, put your feet on this, and it works really well. And you'll see at the top here, I added an extra pulley wheel. I have a video that shows exactly the setup of this. If you go back and watch my other home gym tour, the lat pull down solution I had with these pulley towers, it is like the definition of desperate times call for desperate measures. I was under the impression that it worked fairly well. And when I watched it back, yikes, that was just the craziest solution possible. This right here makes life so easy. And I do lat pull downs with every single back workout of mine. I will link to the video that breaks this down fully, so I won't go into it here. But if you're worried that you don't have enough height for lat pull downs, the perfect solution. I love this rack. This is Titan. This is their X3. It is technically a bolt down rack. I never bolted it down because I have these cable towers on the back. so it is really sturdy and I don't have to worry about it. My barbell, I have a black barbell. This is a pretty standard one. It's from Valor. I've used this now for about 3 years. It's got everything that I want. It's got good knurling. It's got a little give to it and a tiny bit of bend. So if I'm doing deadlifts, it's comfortable. I really just wanted a bar that can do everything well. And I've had no issues with this one. I didn't want to have to store multiple barbells, and I'm not a serious enough power lifter that I should be getting a dedicated deadlift bar or something like that. In the corner, I do have a multi-grip bar, but for the most part, I just wanted a barbell, so I got a nice one. The one upgrade I got are the safeties. My previous one had the pegs, which when you put the bar down on it is just so loud. And I got the 2 kids above me that if I'm doing something like rack pulls, which I enjoy doing, it would be way too loud on those. So I got these, which are basically silent. A little bit more money, but to me worth the upgrade. And then the one thing that people will probably question is the choice of a white rack and wondering if it shows scuffs. Yes, it does show scuffs, not as much as you would think. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on the rack and it's really not bad. The inside of the holes, you can see all the paint coming off, so you can see a lot of black coming through. If you're super particular and you want everything to be pristine, then yeah, I would not get white. If you're worried about it, stick with black, or they do have some other darker colors, red and blue and stuff like that. Red would probably look pretty nice actually, but I went with the white. And the 2 major upgrades I've made to my rack are adding the VTS light adapters, which turn this into a Smith machine, and my lever arms. These VTS adapters are my most recent purchase, and I have an entire video breaking them down in detail. Long story short is it works as a Smith machine on my squat rack, and I love them. They are not perfect by any means, but as a space-saving solution to have the ability to use a Smith machine, I love this. This just slides up and down the upright and it's very smooth. You can check out the video. Hopefully it will answer all of your questions. Those are on the back post here, and on the front post, I have my lever arms along with these Vendetta adapters, which make it so these lever arms can slide up and down the rack and adjust to different starting positions. I use them every single day. I dream about them at night. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my lever arms. If you don't like lever arms, back up. I can't help it. That's just what happens to me when I start talking about lever arms. Lever arms to me are a necessity at this point because they can mimic virtually any machine in the gym with a little creativity. You can do chest, you can do back, you can do shoulders, you can do legs. There are obviously a few things it can't do, and it does some things better than others, but with these Vendetta adapters, I love these things. And then I am sitting on a Bells of Steel buzzsaw bench. This is a very heavy duty bench. It's got a whole bunch of different incline positions. The pad is nice and thick because I am now using my lever arms and my Smith machine. I need something sturdy. This thing weighs nearly 100 pounds. So when I'm doing something like a chest press with my lever arms, this doesn't slide back on me. Whereas previously with my bench, it was a really lightweight, cheap bench. So it was moving around a lot. So I think investing in a heavy duty bench, if you're doing heavier exercises at home, is definitely worth it. I also like having a flat bench. So tucked against the wall back here is a flat bench from Rep. I like having the 2 benches because I like doing so many different exercises. I don't want to have to move my bench constantly. So I can stay set up with my adjustable bench here. And then I could take my flat bench over to the cables and do work over there. This one from Rep was inexpensive. I think having the 2 benches though is a smart move. And then right here, I have my weight tree. I got this specific weight tree. It was just over $100. I got it on Amazon. It is an off-brand and it's not perfect, but it's sturdy enough. And I'm right up against my desk, which does kind of suck when you need to take the plates off because you kind of gotta really squeeze in there. Not a great setup, but hey, this is a realistic home gym tour, and realistic means I'm a little crammed sometimes. I know a lot of people out there like having matching weights. They like bumpers. They like color coordinated. If you're one of those people, fast forward or look away because none of my plates match. I started with a Weider weight set, I think a 300-pound weight set. And then I got some Bells of Steel plates in here. I've got these, I don't even know, Gray Man Gear is this bumper plate. These were called Blemish bumper plates. And there's just like little tiny blemishes like on the side, like little tiny holes. Not even holes, like little imperfections, I guess you can call it. So the price was knocked down because bumpers could get expensive. I really wanted a pair of bumpers because they're bigger. If I'm deadlifting, I put these on first and then the other plates. And there's a tiny bit of a size difference where the bumper is what's hitting the ground and it's not nearly as loud. You still get the clang of the weights together, but having the bumpers helps. Weights are one of those things that just feels so expensive for no good reason. So if you can find deals, go on Marketplace, find people getting rid of weights. That's the one thing in your gym that's gonna get beat up. It's literally just weight. You don't need it to be anything else. So if you can find deals on it, I think you should. Now this is a lot of miscellaneous stuff, mostly attachments though. I have all my multi-grip lat pull down attachments. I've got all these fat grip attachments, some various handles. I do have a video on the attachments specifically, so if you want to see all of these cable attachments, you can check out that video where I go through each one and all of my favorites and my least favorites. But this is where I keep all my miscellaneous stuff. $100 for these shelves. It seemed like a good solution, and then I just kind of hang stuff on the walls there. Pegboards are really popular. A lot of people will have a pegboard solution, and now companies are coming out with modular storage, which is really cool. At some point, I would really like to get something like that, like Bells of Steel. It's basically like a tiny rack. It's modular where you can build it tall, you can build it wide, you can switch it up. I think that's really cool. And if you're someone that cares about aesthetics, it looks way better than this cheap shelving unit, but what are you gonna do? I've got my dumbbells. These are Nuobelt adjustable dumbbells, which have held up really well. As you twist, it adds plates. There are other adjustable weights out there that are much sturdier. They've come a long way over the years and they've been increasingly more and more popular, so more innovations are coming out. But these have been great. I got the stand with them, which I think is necessary. Otherwise, they're on the ground or on a shelf. Having some form of a dumbbell in a home gym, I think is a necessity. Having a wall of dumbbells is just not realistic. So adjustable dumbbells are obviously the next best thing. And because of the space-saving solution and the fact that these go up to 80 pounds, I think it's a great deal. I'm so long-winded that I got hungry during filming, so I'm gonna have a protein bar. And this is not an ad, but if anyone out there needs like a dairy-free vegan bar, this is True Bar. 12 grams of protein, 190 calories. So yeah, not the best, but for a vegan bar, which I'm not vegan, but I like to limit the dairy sometimes from my Tum Tum. These are pretty good. Again, not sponsored, so free shout out for True Bar. They're pretty good. And now this right here, this is my baby. This is my leg extension leg curl from Valor. I mostly do leg extensions and I do standing leg curls on this. Seated leg curls are just not that great. Typically at the bottom with leg extensions, you could swing and there's just no resistance on here because of the way the weight is positioned. You're not working against gravity. All you're doing is pushing and there's no weight. I position this so it's all the way back here. So that way when I sit back, those few inches now are coming off. So this starting position already has a bunch of resistance. And when you go through your leg extensions, you will feel the resistance through the entire motion, and it has solved everything. But one of my favorite things about this machine is this little hack that I discovered that I do have a video on this as well, but it's old and the quality is really bad. So I'm just gonna show you, I keep this little wrench nearby so I can take that bolt out, and I take this foot pad off, and then check this out. There is this leg holder here. It keeps your legs down when you're doing leg curls. Valor sells these bench attachments. I took the measurements and realized that they fit on this perfectly. So I've got a preacher curl machine. I put this in here. I've got this one inch to 2 inch adapter. I put this landmine attachment over it and then attached a chain to it. A little makeshift MacGyver type deal. I slide this on over the bar and I've got this easy curl bar that I'll attach to the bottom here. Tighten that, and then just like that, it is surprisingly sturdy. It looks like it wouldn't be. And now I've got a preacher curl machine. Preacher curls are probably my favorite bicep exercise, but I despise doing dumbbell preacher curls. Like you can do them over the side of a bench. it doesn't feel good. A machine preacher curl, the contraction you get is just far superior. If you're gonna ask, yes, I did try to make it into a tricep push down. This arm cannot get over the pad, so you can't do tricep push downs, which is a bummer. I'm sure there are other kind of hacks and things you can do with this machine, but a leg extension and preacher curl all in one has been awesome for me. And then the last thing that I have kind of tucked away against the wall here, right next to all of my other equipment, this is the Hyper Pro. I just did a video breaking this down. This is one of those things that I wouldn't have bought on my own. The company sent it to me. I am super fortunate and very thankful because now that I've been able to try it, I love this thing. I use it mostly for hyper extensions, and you can do glute focused hyper extensions, which I've been using both quite a bit. It's also been really great for hip thrusts. I do hip thrusts on my rack with the Smith machine attachment. And I've been working on my Nordic curls, which admittedly are still pretty bad, but I'm working on it. I've been enjoying this thing a lot, and the fact that it folds up against the wall has been awesome. My rack and everything is right here, and this is just up against the wall. So it's really not adding a ton of space. Love having it tucked away. There you go. And if you've been seeing some of the stuff on my walls and you're curious, I just want to show you this because I think it's kind of cool. I have a fairly large platform on Instagram and TikTok, and now on here it's growing. I asked people where they were from, and I put pins. This is obviously not everybody, but I put pins all around the world. We got Australia and New Zealand. We got Alaska over here. We got some Hawaii. We got down in Argentina. I got a lot of pins on here. The quote here I think is really important for anybody, so I want to read it to you real quick. It says, "Believe that what you do matters and will make a difference in people's lives. You don't have to save the world in one stroke, but you can make a difference one person at a time." While home gym content is not necessarily going to change the world, being able to help people all around the world, that's a pretty cool thing. And there's my home gym. We did it. If you saw anything that I didn't talk about that you have questions on, leave me your comments, let me know. And if you want to see anything from me in future videos, you let me know. I can break down any specific pieces. Maybe I'll be reviewing some more stuff coming down the road. Hit me with your comments, your questions, your concerns, your insults, your compliments, your money. I don't know, whatever you want to leave in the comments, you leave that for me. And I don't know what the next video will bring, but whatever it is, I will see you guys there.